Hello, I'm Alan Lane, Glenigan's Economics Director, and welcome to the fifth of our weekly updates, where we look at how the current coronavirus pandemic is impacting UK construction. Last night, the government announced that the current lockdown arrangements will continue for at least another 3 weeks. So what does that mean for construction? Well, clearly much will depend on the course of the pandemic over the next 3 weeks. But Spain and Italy, which appear to be 2 to 3 weeks ahead of us in the course of the pandemic, have seen a slowing in infection rates and are looking to ease some aspects of their lockdowns. These have been more restrictive than here in the UK, and in the case of Spain, construction sites are now beginning to reopen as long as safety guidelines are met. So we could potentially see some easing in the government guidelines at the end of the current extension, which should help to expedite the reactivation of more construction sites. Also this week, the Office of Budget Responsibility has published an assessment of the likely impact of the pandemic on the UK economy. Their scenario assumes that the current lockdown arrangements continue into June before gradually being eased. They anticipate that the impact on the UK will be severe but short-lived, a V-shaped recession. The UK economy is projected to shrink by 35% during the current quarter, but to recover rapidly as restrictions are eased, making up for all of the lost ground by the end of next year. Their projections for construction are similarly sharp but short-lived, with construction output falling by 70% during the current quarter before recovering as the lockdown is eased. Our latest data suggests that the impact on construction output during the current quarter may actually be less severe than in the OBR scenario. Work is currently continuing on 71% of sites, which account for some 64% of the value of work currently under construction. This is in part due to work resuming on a number of sites once new safe working practices have been put in place. But where work is continuing on site, safe working practices can involve fewer people working on site at any one time and potentially rescheduling of work, all of which has implications for the timing of needed services and trade on site. We're constantly reviewing the status of existing projects and those in the development pipeline to ensure that we have an up-to-date picture of projects' development schedules. We'll continue to do so as a gradual easing in restrictions and a pickup in site activity approaches. We anticipate that the resumption of work will not be evenly spread across the industry. Private housing sites, for example, may be slow to resume work in the absence of a recovery in potential customers visiting showrooms and reserving new homes. In contrast, public sector and infrastructure projects may be faster to resume work. It is therefore particularly important at this time for firms to keep under review where new opportunities are likely to emerge. Certainly over the last week, we've seen some encouraging examples of clients and contractors reactivating suspended sites and pressing on with planned investments, as my colleague Reese will explain further.
As Alan mentioned, we have seen more contractors return to site this week. An example of that being that yesterday, Multiplex revealed that work was restarted on 4 of its London residential sites, including work on the city's tallest tower. And they also announced that a further 4 projects will reopen for essential works by the 20th of April, and this was following a 2-week shutdown by the firm. In keeping with the theme of encouraging activity, both Costain and Kier have both been awarded large infrastructure projects this week. Costain signed a contract worth £210 million to upgrade the A30 between Chiverton Cross and Carlin Cross in Cornwall. And this was a project that was outlined in the government's Road Investment Strategy 2 back in March. And as well as this, Kier, as part of Highways England's £8.7 billion Regional Delivery Partnership Framework, have been awarded a £150 million contract to improve the A585. And this is a really positive sign that government contracts are proceeding to development despite what's going on. And many of you would have seen this week that the government gave the formal go-ahead for HS2 construction work to begin. HS2 Minister Andrew Stevenson said that this provides thousands of construction workers and businesses across the whole country with certainty at a time when they need it. This was following the announcement that enabling works for the HS2 station at London Euston are also to resume next week. So this is a really good sign that the government is keen to push forward with big construction projects and instigate growth post the current emergency. And further reassurance comes from the fact that development pipeline still remains firm. Planning applications and decisions are close to typical monthly averages we've been finding, and it's great to see a number of local authorities making planning decisions via video conferencing to ensure that the planning pipeline continues to flow as close to normal as possible. And in terms of tendering, bidding numbers remain close to the average numbers we have seen over the last couple of months as well, which is another really positive sign that the businesses still remain active despite what's going on. So as always, we're hoping that you find these videos useful, and if you'd like to talk to us about any of the detail in the video or any information behind the numbers or where future pipeline exists for your business, please do get in touch. We're here to help and support the industry. So for now, we thank you for watching, stay safe, stay at home if you can, and take care. Thank you.